This is a teacher's guide to the division intervention. We're all the way up to step 6. You can see we've increased the rigor now to dividing 3-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. Again, all the double-digit numbers will be 10, 11, or 12, so they can be found on the multiplication table. We'll eventually go beyond that. While we're carefully, slowly drawing out the procedure, we want them to still have that support of being able to look at the multiplication table. Hopefully, most of your kids don't need to, and if they don't need to, then you can even disallow it. But for kids who struggle retrieving their facts, this is a way for them to learn to be efficient and learn to use that multiplication table. So 304 divided by 12, it's represented this way, so they need to put it in the proper form. And this should be automatic by now because they know the number they're dividing into groups goes inside, the number of groups they're forming goes on the outside. The answer will be how many items end up in each group after we've divided it all up. And you can always go back to, visualize the 12 circles down here and start breaking up 304 one at a time. Nobody wants to do that. That's why we're learning this system or this procedure. So then we go straight to the questions. How many times will 12 go into 3? It won't. For all the reasons we talked about multiple times. Will 12 go into 30? Of course it will, because 30 is bigger than 12. Although now, we do have the potential of having a 2-digit number that's smaller than this one, so they still need to ask themselves the questions. Will 12 go into 30? It will, because 30 is bigger, so I can take 30 and divide it into 12 groups. Search your facts. Hopefully they'll get to 2 quickly. 12 times 2 is 24. If they use 12 times 3, they'd be over, and you would say we can't divide things we don't have, so we got to stay under. 12 times 2 is 24. Now we're back to place value reason because this is actually in the tens place, so keep a place value chart up there to refer to. It's in the tens place, so 12 times 20 is 240. Now subtract 4 minus 0 is 4. A little more to do here, 64. So I've taken care of 240 of those items. They're divided up. Each group has 20 currently because this is 2 times 10. It's in the tens place. I have 64 more to divide up. So initially you're talking kids to these questions, and as time goes on you're going to ask them those questions as they're working problems. So at this point, how many have you taken care of? 240. How many does each group have? 20. Again, it just reinforces the place value understanding. And this probably feels overwhelming as you're listening to it. That's why you just kind of, as students are working them, you just kind of ask the questions from time to time. You don't make them go through it with you every single time. But the idea is through a lot of repetition, they really develop a deep understanding of what's going on. Now, taking care of 240, I have 64 more to deal with. Start asking yourself the questions. Will 12 go into 6? Of course not. And again, hopefully they've stopped asking themselves that question by now. Will 12 go into 64? Yes, it will. It'll go, searching my facts, 5 times without going over. So 12 times 5 is 60. It's in the ones place, so that works. There's no zeros to add. Taking 0 from 4, we end up with 4. Nothing there. So we have to, and then, of course, we need to ask again in case we've made a mistake. Will 12 go into 4? Won't. Starting to have the conversations now. If we get here and we have a number bigger than 12, then we really made a mistake because we're at the end of our digits here. So 25 remainder 4 is the answer. And of course they need to be able to tell you, when I take 304 items, I divide it into 12 different groups. Each group gets 25, and there's 4 left over. So maybe maybe my class got invited to shovel driveways in the neighborhood after a snowstorm. We made $304 total. How much can each of us take home? So the answer is we each get $25, and then there's $4 left over that we're going to have to figure out what to do with.